On June 29, 2024, a 17-year-old girl named Trinity Bostic ran away from her home in Lafayette, Tennessee, following a disagreement with her father. She contacted Fernando Perales Mejia, whom she had been secretly seeing, and asked him to pick her up. Mejia did so, and that was the last time Trinity was seen alive. A few days later, her body was discovered abandoned along a wooded stretch of Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, Route 386, near the Nashville Pike exit in Hendersonville, Tennessee. What happened? This is her story. Trinity Bostic was a 17-year-old high school student who lived with her father in Lafayette, Tennessee. According to her loved ones, she was sweet, caring, and full of compassion. Her family often described her as an angel and the sweetest, kindest soul who genuinely loved everyone around her. She dreamed of becoming an attorney and planned to attend college to pursue a career in law. As a rising senior at Macon County High School, she dedicated much of her time to her studies. She took her education seriously, believing that good grades were the key to achieving her dream of attending college and eventually law school. Tragically, she never had the opportunity to graduate from high school or begin her higher education. On June 29, 2024, Trinity left her home following a disagreement with her father. She contacted Mejia, who picked her up. Dashcam footage from Mejia's vehicle and cell phone tower data later showed the pair driving through multiple counties for several hours. Sadly, this was the last time Trinity was seen alive. Later that evening, Trinity's father returned home and immediately realized something was wrong. Her car was still parked in the driveway, but she was nowhere to be found. When he checked the vehicle, he discovered that the keys had been left inside. Knowing his daughter's habits, he recognized that leaving her car unlocked with the keys inside was completely out of character, which immediately raised alarm. He and other family members repeatedly called and texted Trinity's phone, but every call went straight to voicemail, and none of the messages received a response. Realizing something was seriously wrong, her father contacted the Macon County Sheriff's Office that same night to report her missing. Immediately after Trinity was reported missing on June 29, 2024, a critical disconnect emerged between law enforcement's initial response and her family's desperate efforts to find her. Because she had left home following a disagreement with her father, the Macon County Sheriff's Office initially classified her as a runaway. Shortly after her father filed the missing person report, he received a brief text message from Trinity's phone that read, "I am okay, sorry." Immediately after the message was sent, her phone disconnected from the network and never became active again. Because Trinity had been classified as a runaway, her disappearance did not meet the strict criteria required for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI, to issue an Amber Alert. Additionally, the Macon County Sheriff's Office faced significant public criticism for failing to share Trinity's photo or missing person information on social media during the critical first days of the investigation, a delay that missing persons advocates argued greatly reduced public awareness. Behind the scenes, sheriff's deputies interviewed Trinity's family and friends in an effort to determine where she might have gone. Investigators obtained her cell phone number and began tracing its movements. The data revealed that her phone had traveled south from Macon County into Sumner County. Macon County authorities notified law enforcement agencies in Sumner County, which conducted searches in the areas identified through cell tower records. Unfortunately, those initial searches were unsuccessful. Frustrated by the lack of public alerts, Trinity's family launched their own search efforts. They shared missing person flyers across social media, contacted friends, and searched throughout their community. They remained hopeful that she was simply staying with someone they knew, unaware that she had already been murdered on the very night she disappeared. On July 3, 2024, a subcontracted road worker collecting litter for the Tennessee Department of Transportation, TDOT, made a horrifying discovery. Along a wooded stretch of Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, Route 386, near the Nashville Pike exit in Hendersonville, Tennessee, the worker found the body of a young female. Shocked by the discovery, the worker immediately called emergency services. He stopped all work, secured the area to prevent any evidence from being disturbed, and waited for first responders to arrive. Within minutes, Officers from the Hendersonville Police Department reached the scene and immediately established a secure perimeter around the wooded area to preserve the integrity of the crime scene. The department's Criminal Investigation Division and crime scene technicians were dispatched to document the scene, collect evidence, and carefully recover the victim's remains. Investigators closed the right lane of Route 386 near the Nashville Pike exit for several hours, causing significant traffic delays, while forensic teams searched the surrounding area for shell casings, tire tracks, and other potential evidence. The Tennessee Medical Examiner's Office later positively identified the remains by comparing Trinity's dental records with her medical records. An autopsy conducted on July 4, 2024, determined that her cause of death was homicide caused by a gunshot wound to the head and face. On July 5, 2024, 2 days after the body was discovered, authorities officially identified the victim as 17-year-old Trinity Bostic. Once Hendersonville police confirmed that the victim was the missing teenager from Macon County, the missing person investigation immediately became a high-priority homicide case. Within 24 hours of identifying her, detectives used cell phone records, license plate reader data, and ballistic evidence to identify Fernando Perales Mejia as their primary suspect. On July 6, 2024, less than 24 hours after Trinity was officially identified, Hendersonville police arrested Mejia at his home. During the arrest, investigators recovered the suspected murder weapon from beneath the driver's seat of his vehicle and found Trinity's go-bag inside his bedroom. As detectives pieced together the events of June 29th, they confirmed that Trinity had contacted Mejia after leaving home. Dashcam footage and cell phone records showed the two driving through several counties together for hours. Surveillance footage and audio recordings from inside Mejia's vehicle showed the couple hugging and kissing. Approximately 30 minutes later, sometime between 9:30 p.m. and 10 p.m., investigators determined that Mejia shot Trinity in the face and head with a 9mm handgun. He then drove to a wooded area near Vietnam Veterans Boulevard in Hendersonville, where he abandoned her body along the roadside. Detectives built a powerful case against Mejia using extensive digital evidence, including cell tower records and data extracted from both phones. Cell tower records placed Mejia's phone alongside Trinity's throughout June 29, 2024. The records also showed that Mejia's phone remained near Vietnam Veterans Boulevard in Hendersonville at the exact time Trinity's phone permanently disconnected from the network. Investigators also determined that the final text message from Trinity's phone, which read, "I am okay, sorry," was sent from a cell tower near Mejia's location, confirming that she had already left Lafayette and was with him when the message was transmitted. Because Mejia was only 17 years old at the time of the murder, a Sumner County juvenile judge held transfer hearings to determine whether he should be tried as a juvenile or an adult. Given the calculated and execution-style nature of the killing, the judge ruled that Mejia would be prosecuted as an adult. Later in 2024, the case was officially transferred to adult court. In February 2026, the trial was held over 4 days in a Sumner County courtroom. Prosecutors presented overwhelming physical, digital, and ballistic evidence linking Mejia to the murder. Mejia chose not to testify in his own defense, leaving his exact motive unknown. On February 26, 2026, following closing arguments, the jury deliberated for only 25 minutes before finding Mejia guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. Judge D. David Gay immediately sentenced him to life in prison. Trinity's father was devastated by the loss of his daughter and openly expressed his grief, guilt, and heartbreak throughout the investigation and trial. He recalled that on Saturday, June 29, 2024, Trinity had spent part of the day helping him at his auto body shop. Around 3 p.m., she told him she was going back home in Lafayette to do some yard work. Before she left, they shared a simple but meaningful moment, hugging each other and saying, "I love you." Although they had a minor disagreement that day, he never imagined it would be the last time he would ever see his daughter. May Trinity Bostic rest in peace.